Okay guys, so as promised, here is the first of many tips and insight videos that I have planned. In this one we're going to start simple and cover some of the basics. Then in the next video I'm going to use one of my own gameplay clips and I'm going to analyze it for you, showing what I did right, what I did wrong, and why I made certain gameplay decisions, which will highlight some of the things I do. For this video though, let's get cracking. Firstly, we want to quickly do some boring stuff. We need to make sure the game is set up right. That is half the battle. What I mean by this is ensure raw input is turned on in the options. This basically makes your mouse movements come straight from the mouse rather than having any software, i.e. the game, controlling it. It ensures there isn't any mouse acceleration on your mouse, which for any game will help you become more consistent. I would also always recommend a sensitivity that is on the lower side rather than the higher side. But some people do like high sensitivities and that works for them. Just get something that you're comfortable with. But if you're comfortable with a lower sensitivity, that probably will help you in the long run. As a little pointer as well, always try and make sure your sensitivity is the same in most of the FPS games that you play. This way your aim will be consistent throughout and your muscle memory will stay the same. It really helps make your aim more consistent if you're playing different games. If you head over to mouse-sensitivity.com, you can put in your sensitivity in one game and it will give you the equivalent value in another. It's really useful and I'd recommend it. Next, head quickly to the gameplay tab and down to just above the advanced options at the bottom and change the high frequency network updates from auto to on. On ensures it is always on, whereas auto can sometimes turn it off. So for the best experience, you always want it on. This applies to Battlefield 4 as well. Now use whatever graphics settings you want, it's entirely up to you, but if you can, try to disable things like motion blur, post-processing, and anti-aliasing. They really do add a delay to your mouse movements, and you'll find that if you turn them off, your mouse movements will be a lot sharper. Also, do not run with a low FOV if you can help it. Again, this is personal preference, it's just a suggestion though. All it does really is give you a disadvantage. If you're running a low FOV, then you see a lot less in your periphery. That being said, don't set it too high either. Having it around 100 or above makes you feel like you are moving so much faster. And because of that, you feel like you can actually move faster, and you tend to feel like you are further around objects than you actually are. So it kind of distorts your view on things. I personally would recommend 90. It's a good blend between both, but try and use 80 or above if possible. So now the boring part's out of the way, let's get on to some actual gameplay tips. One of my biggest flaws personally, and something I have corrected myself, and I recommend you do as well, is your movement. When I was playing Battlefield 3, I felt I could just run around corners for days, outreact people, I could turn around, get away with it, but in Battlefield 4 it just didn't feel as responsive, so you have to learn to adapt. One of the biggest issues I had was being killed while moving. So maybe I'm still sprinting or I'm going around a corner, still moving, whatever it may be. And then boom, an enemy's around the corner and I can't shoot fast enough and I die. This is a little bit more apparent in Hardline because of the high time to kill. What I should, and you should be doing instead, is actually using sprint a lot less. And of course, only use it if you're safe and far away from the battle. Instead, try this. Try either tapping W just to move forward slightly, or keep your finger on W but tap the shift key with your small finger. I always tend to use this when I'm in close environments and I want to move a little bit faster than walking, but I don't want to commit to a full sprint and be caught out. And what you're doing when you do this, you're just doing bursts of sprint. So burst, burst, burst. It means you're a little bit more responsive if someone does just peek out at you. It takes some getting used to, but it does mean you are moving faster than walking, but you're still going to be able to react quicker than in full sprint. Now, although you shouldn't be sprinting everywhere, staying on the move is important, and it makes you a lot less predictable. Unless you're waiting for somebody and you know you're safe, always keep moving. What you need to remember in Hardline is that the minimap shows you 90% of the time. If you don't have a silencer on, you're going to show up on the minimap, and somebody is going to know where you are. Not only that, if there's a hacker on the enemy team, i.e. a commander hacker, then they can GPS spot all the time. You could be showing up on the minimap constantly. If you're stuck in one place, there's a good chance somebody's just going to come and shoot you in the back. I'm always usually on the move, always checking my radar and looking for enemies. If I see someone on the radar, my first thought is how I can intercept them. Okay, so moving on to shooting a little bit. In Battlefield 4, you were punished if you started hip firing, then you ADS'd afterwards and carried on shooting. Instead of getting the ADS accuracy once you'd actually zoomed in, you would continue to get the less inaccurate hip fire because you started shooting before being fully ADS'd. Now, they somewhat sorted this in later patches, making it far less of a problem, and happily, in Hardline, it isn't an issue either. What this means, and something that I utilise a lot, is shooting at the enemy as you are ADSing. Now, some people might do this anyway, but it's a good habit actually to get in. Don't wait until you are zoomed in to fire at the guy. You can probably get away 3 shots while zooming in, which may even kill him. Getting into the habit of shooting off some hip fire really fast at the same time as ADSing basically means you're slightly improving your chances of survival in most situations. Unless, of course, you were coming across a K10, in which case, just Alt F4. Also, bearing in mind, this is a tip for close range. If a guy is 5,000 meters away, don't try and hip fire him, okay? Now, while we're on the topic of hip firing, try out this technique to improve your accuracy. Instead of going full auto when hip firing, try tapping instead. Now, if you're using an SMG like a K10, then don't even bother with this, but if you're using an assault rifle, it can be pretty handy to keep a little bit more accuracy while hip firing. Get up close and try tapping really fast. It helps keep your hip fire accuracy quite high, and then you can ADS real fast afterwards if you need to, and go full auto to your heart's content. Trust me, tapping while hip firing really does help improve your accuracy. It takes a little bit of getting used to in sort of tapping pretty fast, but it will help your accuracy. As a side point here, attachments. Now, I'm not going to go into too much detail on attachments in this video. That's going to be a later video, but there's something that everyone needs to know. If you're using assault rifles, try out the muzzle and stubby in your assault rifles for possibly the best combo right now. The muzzle reduces recoil, and then the stubby reduces the penalty for going full auto. Very useful on the M416, for example. But there's a side note that a lot of people don't realise. Using extended mags actually adds a spread penalty onto your fire. So it actually makes your gun slightly less accurate. So I would always recommend not using it. For the extra 5 or so bullets, it just isn't worth it. Now, on an SMG, it's possibly worth the compromise. But on an assault rifle, there is no point in using the extended mags. It's giving you less accurate fire, and you're only getting 5 or so bullets out of it. Just don't bother using it. Now, there are so many things I can talk about and go over. Firing your gun, when to use your secondary, map tips, how I work certain maps, and it's all coming, trust me. But I can't fit it all into one video. Next week, we're going to focus on moving around the map and controlling the assault rifles to get the best accuracy. Before then, though, as I mentioned, I'm going to be releasing a video on Friday analysing one of my games, and I think that could prove pretty insightful. See what I did there? Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. I hope some of this helped, and plenty more where it came from, and I'll see you on Friday.